I really wanted to do real estate sales. I learned that through a saying that says a good leader will tell their people what to do and guide them to success doing so. A great leader will show them how to do it so that they can become their own great leaders one day. And they'll stop and they'll tell me, well, why exactly would you work for free? And the answer was very simple. I don't know how to do something, but I'm willing to learn and give it my best. And if you're willing to understand that you've got a guy who's not a professional at what he's doing yet, but is willing to do anything to get things done right, and he's going to do so by providing success to you directly.
Not only are you the agent that actually were able to beat my record, that you're able to accomplish this year after year after year, which usually never happens. All right, guys, this is Rick Benavides, Allen Lozano. We're with Big Realty. He's a Big Realty agent, team leader. I'm the broker of Big Realty. And for those of you guys that don't know, we're going to be doing these interviews with the agents so that anybody watching this video could either get inspired, get motivated, or even want to do business with Mr. Allen or any other people that we're going to interview. So I'm excited to do this because I believe that by you and I talking, Allen, we're going to bring a lot of value to the people who are watching this, whether it's here in the Valley or, throughout the world, throughout the nation, other Latinos, other people who are like you, who to find their way in the world or in the real estate community. The reason we're doing this and we're going to continue doing this is because I believe that whoever sits in these chairs or whoever sits in that chair across from me is something that you guys need to see and you guys need to hear, because we have some unbelievable talent and individuals in our organization that I think the world needs to hear from and get to know, and more importantly, hear exactly what they have to say. So let me just start off with this. Your name is Allen Lozano, is that right?
That is correct.
How old are you, Allen?
I am 31.
31 years old. And so far you've accomplished a couple of businesses, some failed businesses, some successful businesses. You've also have 3 years in a row the #1 real estate agent in South Texas as the entire region. You've been top producer in our company for 3 years as well, 4 years. And you've been on the record as the top producer for the last 4 years, right? You are an individual agent, but you also have a team. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have a group behind everything that we do.
You have a group, an organization that stands behind you and all of your business.
That is correct.
Correct. So explain to people how it works. You are with Big Realty, but you have your own team or company. How does that work?
Correct. So you have to understand, I think, one thing first is there's only two real positions in the real estate sales world. There's a broker and there's the sales agent, right? Easiest way to put it is in those two terms. Everybody that's not a broker is going to be a sales agent or operate under the sponsorship of a brokerage. From there, you can form what we call groups, right? People working together as a team under a team or an individual name. Sometimes they partake as individual names, sometimes as a team name, but everybody works under a brokerage. So what we have is a group of guys that are working together on projects together, as a team, collaboratively trying to accumulate goals, which is production.
How many deals did you close last year as units?
Last year we closed about 132 units.
Okay, cool. 132 units, and the volume was about?
62 million.
$62 million. Wow, that's impressive. My biggest year was about 43, 44 million. Back in the day where the sales prices used to be less and stuff like that, but I'm extremely grateful and extremely blessed that not only are you the agent that actually were able to beat my records and carry the company in your back, but that you're able to accomplish this year after year after year, which usually never happens. The agents get there 1 year and you never see them back there again, right? So it's very rare and uncommon for somebody to win and continue to win year after year after year. And I know at the beginning of the year, last year, you were a little concerned whether you were going to be able to hit top producer again or not, right?
Well, that is correct, man. I have carried a goal and a plan in this real estate sales world that does have an exit to it and does have a theme.
Yeah.
Which
an endpoint, an exit strategy.
Yeah. And so I really wanted to do real estate sales for about 5 years, but work really tough in the time in between to be able to learn everything you need to learn, to be able to grow some capital that you're going to need to make the next step, which is my next step, which would be to become the other side of the deals, right? The guy and the people buying.
You wanted to be the investor. You wanted to be the player.
I wanted to be the investor, correct? Yeah. Which is still what I'm trying to do today.
So you're using real estate sales to go to the real estate investor world so that you can start opening up your own projects, your own developments, your own deals. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So I think that, and neither of which is right or wrong. I believe there are two paths when you join in the real estate world. When you join the real estate sales world, there's really about two paths that you can take. One of them is the career path,
right?
Which there are many people who do this very successfully, live lavish lifestyles, and choose to make selling real estate as a career of
their
life,
priority business,
for their life, right? And I think it's a very tough job, and those who go that path
to consistently hit top numbers, right?
And another path is using real estate sales as a stepping stone that says, okay, I'm going to learn everything that I can about the residential sector, the commercial sector, the development sector, and eventually compiled with the knowledge that you've picked up with everything that you've seen, along with saving capital and putting yourself in a leveraged position, go chase these projects that now you've worked hard for other people to chase at one point. When you're a broker and just getting a commission out of the deal, well, I wanted to be at the other side at one point, right?
And how did you get that mindset of understanding that that's an objective or that's a goal that you can get to? Because majority of these brokers, when they hire you, they want you to stay as a salesperson forever, right?
Well, that's why you got to go with the right broker.
Right.
I've always believed that from day one, you've never been someone that's tried to make me stay under the shadow of
or lock you in.
I feel like you're quite the opposite. You've always, to all of your realtors, you've pushed us to be better than you in every way.
Right.
And so I've learned that through a saying that says a good leader will tell their people what to do and guide them to success doing so. A great leader will show them how to do it so that they can become their own great leaders one day too.
Sure.
Right. And so you've showed us everything that we know today. I know you have a saying that says you haven't showed us everything you know, but that's part of what we have to do.
I teach you everything you know, but not everything I know. Right?
Exactly.
Because I got to keep a little bit in my pocket.
But you've taught us that we got to go find that somewhere, and that's a whole other experience in itself.
I'm an open book. I just say that to some people that come in, take the knowledge, take the value, and then go sell themselves for a 99-cent broker. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've approached clients with, hey man, let me work for you. Let me handle this transaction for you, or let me process this entitlement for you. And I'm not going to charge anything. Don't pay me a commission.
Wow.
Only pay the other procuring agent a commission maybe. And they'll stop and they'll tell me, well, why exactly would you work for free, right? And the answer was very simple. I don't know how to do something, but I'm willing to learn and give it my best. And if you're willing to understand that you got a guy is not a professional at what he's doing yet, but is willing to do anything to get things done right, and he's going to do so by providing success to you directly, as investors, they'd like to take that mentorship position. And say,
absolutely.
okay.
For those of you guys out there, let that be a lesson to you. I don't know if you have 100 years of experience or 1 year of experience. You're never too good to learn from a deal. You're never too good to learn from somebody who is exactly where you want to be or in that better position where you might one day admire to be, right?
I mean, there's always a bigger fish, guys.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I've always learned. You could be the biggest realtor in your company, and then there's going to be a bigger company. And then you could be the biggest realtor in the region, and then there's going to be a different, bigger, better region. And then there's national size, right? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we're just tiny.
That's right.
Even living up to the success that we've been able to do.
That's right.
And that's why you got to stay humble, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a quality that you have. You're definitely humble, hardworking, all those good qualities. Now that we know a little bit about, your story, give us the 30-second rundown or the 1-minute rundown on how you ended up in the real estate world, man.
Well, I jumped from the restaurant bar business. I jumped into the retail business. And then the retail business jumped into the nightlife industry.
The nightclub business.
The nightclub business, which was where actually I got to meet you.
Yeah.
We were looking for investors, partners to accompany us to that project.
That's right.
And
I always wanted to be a nightclub owner.
And you
so it
like
just
one,
kind of landed one. It landed on my lap. I remember your dad called me and says, hey, my son wants to do a nightclub. Are you in or you're out? And I'm like, well, I would like a little bit more details before I start putting my money in there. But as soon as I walked in, you set up the whole stage for me. You turned on the lights, you turned on the music, you did the whole shebang. And the moment I met you, I was sold because I knew that you were a quality player. Just maybe you had a lot of ideas or preconceived notions of what business, in my opinion, was, but you just needed a little bit of guidance. And I was very happy and excited to do that for you because your dad did that for me one day. Yeah.
It quickly went from excitement to what did we do, right? Nightclub was just not,
And so
not where we should have been at the time.
yeah, and that's a story that we can share where we failed, where we lost a lot of money. I don't even want to say the number because I'm going to be embarrassed, but we lost a lot of money. You lost a lot of money. You lost a lot of time. I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of time. And we even brought in one of our buddy builders, investors, realtors to join us. He lost a lot of money and a lot of time, and he couldn't even drink at that time, so he didn't even get to enjoy the investment. But it was a big loss all the way around, but we learned from it, right?
Yep.
And it was fun while we did it, and we checked it off of our bucket list. And if you were to ask me right now, hey, Rick, you want to go back into the nightclub business? My answer is going to be definitely no.
Definitely not for me either. But I take it, and I know it's cliche when people say, you know what, L's don't stand for losses, they stand for lessons.
Yeah.
And it was a huge lesson that I learned. It was an opportunity for me to show you the kind of work ethics that I carried.
Your work ethic was unbelievable since day one.
Because once I met you, once I met Big Realty, and I got to see, I know that we've grown, I mean, so much since that time.
Tremendously.
But even then, you had some quality grade A players that still till today are the reigning leaders of our company. I was impressed by them. I was impressed by you and your whole team. And I wanted to be a part of that badly. I was like, I really, really want in. And so every day.
So we were losing money. The company was about to go under. We were like at the last payroll. Like we didn't have any money to make last payroll. We were scrapping for money to make the last payroll. And so you made the decision to call it quits.
Well, actually, before that, I started working with you. The only way that you opened your doors to me, which was the janitorial services.
Yeah.
I guess this guy really wanted to put me
No.
through the
It's
ringer.
not that. It's just knowing who your father is and knowing where you come from. I felt that you were going to be a silver spoon, overprivileged, good for nothing kid, right? And I'm like, you know what? Let me test this guy out. So I had a little property management commercial division section. And so I said, you know what? Let me send them out there, go clean some plazas, go pick up some trash, go pressure wash some buildings, a little bit of labor work to see if he really wants to earn the entrance into this world of mine and take him under my wing, because I knew from the beginning he was going to be a superstar. I just needed to know that if he could bring more than just putting on a suit and pretend to run a nightclub business. I only put him under that pressure for maybe like a month and a half.
Like almost 2 months.
And you even created procedures and for that department, for that position, which
Correct.
we still use today with some of the people that we hire.
So first off, I'd like to say that property management division is the fanciest name I've heard for janitor. That's what it was. It was a straight up janitor.
Yeah.
I mean, you would clean floors, clean toilets, take out the trash, cut grass. I mean,
Clean my car.
Clean his car, his brother's car. I mean, anything that you asked me to do, I had to be ready to do.
Yeah.
But
And it was just more of a pressure test, but yeah.
Why you could see why you thought maybe the dad issue and you're a silver spoon fed baby, and but I appreciate that you put me through a challenge. It's actually something that my own father would constantly do, put me through challenges to test my work.
I do that to my own child.
I've always witnessed you do that with RJ, which is impressive, and I think it's great. I know as a kid we didn't really like that. I know maybe RJ has said complaints of my dad's too strict and he's not very nice, but once you grow up you realize that all of that is just an opportunity that a lot of other kids probably.
It's my job to put them through the ringer and show them the way. Just like way I take on a responsibility whenever I bring somebody into my life to give them the best and all that good stuff.
I agree.
So,
well, let's have a little drink to that.
Sure, absolutely.
Are you the kind of guy that eats the fruit? You already ate.
I already ate it. I'm like, I'm not gonna wait for that.
You can have mine.
Thank you. All right, cheers. So, we shut down the business. You're already working for me, real estate.
Well, actually, it was advice that you gave me. You said, look, are you ready to take the next step, which was become your assistant at the time? Right. You said, I'm going to have to ask you to make the decision. Do you want to stay in limbo like you are today, making the amount of money that you do today, or do you want to commit to something and say I'm all in 100%? Which meant if I was 100% in with you, I would have to detach myself from the other two businesses that we were operating at the time, right?
That's right.
So I took your advice, I took the next step, and I said, okay, I will completely commit myself to real estate and take the path of that, right? So I became your assistant, became your brother's assistant. I remember
That was fun.
when I made my first phone call, I was not able to make another phone call again after that. And that's because I thought I was good at selling at the time.
Yeah.
Right? I thought I could have a conversation with a person about something.
Sure.
But I freaked out for some reason. And yeah, you took the phone
You
away
panicked,
from me.
yeah.
I panicked. Very quickly after that, we got licensed, and that's how the journey began.
Yeah. And I remember the first award ceremony that you went to. I saw your face change when I started giving all these awards out,
Yeah.
and you didn't win anything.
Well, I had won something, but not
What did you
those.
win?
Well, this is what happened, man. I get there, and it was my first year at the award ceremony, and there was already, multiple people conversating that, oh, Rick's new guy is great, and I was feeling good about myself at the time,
Yeah.
right? I was feeling confident, I was feeling happy and motivated, extremely motivated. I get to the award ceremony, it's a big party that Big Realty's throwing, it's fancy, everyone's dressed up, so they start calling out the first awards, and it was like X amount of dollar producer gets called up, and Allen, everyone claps, right? The new kid came in and won the award, cool.
Yeah.
And then it was Rookie of the Year, which to me, till today, continues to be one of the most important
Greatest
trophies you can award.
accomplishments, yeah.
And I was going up against some pretty good rookies
Yeah.
that today are pretty monsters in this industry.
And some even quit, right? That they said they were going to beat you, and they're not even in the business anymore. Yeah.
I got the Rookie of the Year. I won it, and I was ecstatic. Go back to my table. I've got 2 awards. I'm feeling great about myself. And then I see, this award go by and someone else, and that award go by and someone else. And I start to realize, I was like, well, hold on a second. I didn't really know this, but you give the worst, well, not the worst, but the lowest trophies first, and then you get to the best ones last,
At the
right?
end,
Obviously,
yeah.
that's the way it works, but I wasn't thinking like that night.
Sure.
And sure enough, everybody starts getting the words, and then you get to Greg, right? Greg gets this, Greg gets that, Greg gets this, Greg gets that. Then you get to Eva, and Eva wins this one, and that one, and this one, and that one. And the trophy goes over here, and I'm like, whoa. Like, those are the big dogs, you know? Those are the people that I really looked up to and admired for the work ethic.
And they've had a lot of big part to do in your journey, where you are today.
Man.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop telling you how much Greg has done for me.
Because I can't take all the credit. I mean, I like to take all the credit, but I can't take all the credit because we do have other leaders in our organization that have guided you and pulled you and said, here, go this way, go do this, go do that, right?
I completely agree, man.
And that's the culture that we have at our company. For those of you guys that don't know, we have a very open door, big culture, I'm here to help you type business. And so everybody helps each other in our Big Realty company. I 100% believe that.
I agree, man. And now I still seek for help all the time. I call you, I call your sister for questions at all times. But I also try to be the person that gives back now to all of our agents.
Provides
whether
value.
they're part of our team, my team, or Big Realty. At the end of the day, we're one big team here.
Yeah.
And we truly, truly function in that manner.
I agree.
At least we actually make sure that our leaders and our leadership positions are always out there to help any other young and upcoming agents, right?
Yep.
So I appreciated that as I was coming in, and I think it's important to continue that
So
as part of our culture.
now that you've told us, how you got to where you're at, in the last couple of years or in the last 2-3 years, you've accomplished a lot. What has changed? What are you working on? What have you worked on? What has transitioned into helping you become the #1 agent? And then after we finish talking about that, I would also like to ask you a couple of more questions.
Okay. There's really 2 sides that we're operating right now. It's our real estate sales, and now it's my journey of investment sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a baby right here. Our team is doing strong. I know that when I started with you, I had a group of almost 7. We had 7 people on our team total.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the years, last year we were a 2-man team and we operated $62 million in sales. We've consistently grown in sales year after year after year, no matter the changes within our team, because we find a way to stay stronger with more important numbers rather than being bigger in size, right? So now we have 3 really, really strong players on our team, and we're all doing really good on the sector sale side. I believe we won top producing month in January. We'll probably take it again in February.
God willing.
At Big Realty. And there's a lot of strong competition. I know I'm a humble guy, man, so I'm going to have to say this. I know that you keep calling me the #1 agent, but there's a lot of guys out there that I believe are just as good as I am, if not better. There's people are fixated on what's on the MLS list, right? Everybody always pulls up those numbers, and everybody always says, "Oh, well, this guy finished with that. Well, this guy finished with that." We know there's guys out there, man, that are closing major commercial deals that do not populate on the MLS.
Yeah.
Right? We know that there are, even the top guys on the MLS, not all their closings happen on MLS.
Sure.
So the numbers that are portraying there are probably even higher.
Yeah.
I know that everybody that works hard in this industry, I mean, I could name two handfuls of people that are absolutely killing it.
Yeah. And we work with
amazing.
them on a continuous basis because it's just a matter of putting the deals together. And usually the top 20% or the top 10% are the ones that are making all the money.
And that's where I think it gets fun, man, because you get people that are, everybody's just escalating in an industry where we can all survive together.
That's right.
There doesn't have to be a one dominating individual, right? Because there's enough business for all of us.
Right.
But the more that you work on this side and you open the doors for my guys on this side, we can meet and do bigger projects together.
That's right.
Prepare things better for the future for the Valley. I think that's our job, right? For at least in the real estate department.
So you're already doing investments. You're already doing big properties. You're already doing big
now
deals.
I am involved in my own investments, and developments and constructions of properties. Thank you, man.
Congratulations.
It's really, really neat to be able to say that. And
Feels good, right?
Feels great. You take risks doing it, man. I could tell you that I don't own a nice car today because I've chosen to go that route. Instead of buying a $200,000 car, I opted to do a $200,000 down payment.
Sure.
And obtain a loan that's going to cost me as much as a $200,000 car would cost me a month. But the way that I see it, Rick, is very simple. You go buy yourself a nice fancy car. 5 years from now, well, let's not even go that far. 2 years from now, it's going to have depreciated.
The moment you drive it off the lot, it's worth it.
It's not going to be worth it, right? If you go spend $200,000 on, or leverage that money, or use it as a whole as an investment, it's going to give you more in return.
Yeah, and we're doing it the right way. I mean, I remember when you first bought that nice SUV. What was it? Hyundai.
It wasn't. Well, you're right.
Yeah,
it's Hyundai. It wasn't really nice.
Yeah, it was a $30,000 truck or a $40,000 truck, and you were scared to show it to me because I don't believe in buying fancy shit. I don't believe in buying fancy cars. Eventually, you get to the point where you can, because you have all these assets generating all this cash flow, and you can give yourself these little rewards.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
Especially if it's like tax deductible.
Yeah. All that good stuff.
Yeah, I get that. But I went off and I said.
But I remember when you bought it and you were like
I was
scared.
I went out. Well, this is what happened. I had gone from two cars that were under $13,000 each.
Yeah.
Paid cash, had no payment. I've always believed in just save my capital because I've been in positions, man, where guys like, hey, man, well, I've got this. You want to go in 200 G's each? I'm like, well, I don't even have that. 100 G's. I didn't have it at the time, so I needed to be ready again for the opportunities that were coming my way, right? Well, when I went to go buy that car, the car that I had previously had gotten me, I couldn't change the gear from drive to reverse. My client was in the car with me. That's not my partner. And he was like, hey man, I noticed your car broke down. You need help or anything? I was like embarrassed. I was like, I'm fine. I turned it off and on a couple of times and it worked, right? So I said, okay, now I gotta go get something new with warranty that can get me around. And that's not gonna embarrass me, right? But I do feel a certain shame of making an expense that's like, do you really need to make that?
Yeah.
And now I think different. Right now I'm like, yeah, you absolutely needed to make that, right? Now that I have my F-150, it's like you absolutely needed to have a truck on board,
because you're going into land and pad sites and all these construction sites all the
endless
time.
amount of days that you're carrying equipment. I mean, it's worth it, but I did want something nicer. I do want a bigger house. I do want my nice house. I do want my nice car. But I'd rather do things right.
Everything in due time.
And 3 to 5 years from now, you're going to start getting to that point where, like, okay, now that we're kicking back your rewards, now go get yourself what you deserve. Right?
I agree.
And we're young, man. I believe that.
How old are you? 31, right? Yeah.
At the age of 31, if you give yourself 5 years, you're 36. A lot of people barely get started to work at 36.
I agree. What's next? What's the plan for the next 5 years? What's the plan for the next 10 years? And how do you see, if you can give a prediction about the real estate here in South Texas?
Okay, that's a good question. Next step, I think the plan and the journey that I'm in really is a step of another, I would say about 3 years of balancing myself. So right now, the way that I balance my life, and at one point it was a scale of nothing but real estate sales, right? Always real estate sales, real estate sales. As I started jumping to the opposite side of the real estate investments, my time started doing this. until I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm still probably a little more sales and investment, but the next 3 years I'm trying to tilt that scale in the opposite direction to where I be a lot more heavily invested than I am in sales. Now I do believe that I'll always carry a portion of sales.
You have to have it because you're still playing in the real estate arena, and so as long as you have a strong team, I think eventually you're going to get here, but this is going to be so strong and being fed so much from here
Exactly.
that you're still going to be winning.
Exactly. And we're already seeing this feed this. Right?
Yeah.
We're already seeing that ability to work as a team between the investment side and the sales side.
And I can honestly say, I think the reason you ended up with 62 mil is because a lot of this was feeding this at the end of the day.
Did.
A lot of the moves that you made in the last 2-3 years.
It absolutely did. And I was, when I told you that I was concerned that I wasn't going to, produce as much as I did this year, it wasn't out of the confidence. I've never not been confident that once I commit myself and set myself to work.
Well, you're a big realty agent. We don't lack any confidence.
We're a big realty agent, exactly, right?
Yeah.
It was more so along the lines that I thought I was going to tilt the scale more so, right?
Yeah.
But doing what I'm doing, I've learned, okay, man, it's not that easy.
I told you, relax. It's going to be okay. Think about it this way. Maybe make these adjustments. Maybe make these moves. And I think you're making all the right moves.
I think so, too,
You finally agreed to get an assistant. You finally agreed to grow your team with the right individuals and the right people. If you're a hardworking superstar and you want to go to the next level, reach out to Mr. Allen. He's always looking to hire the right people. Am I right?
That is correct, always.
I believe you. I think you're going to reach all the greatest goals. I think you're going to be one of the superstars of the Rio Grande Valley. I said it here first. I think you will be the king of kings in South Texas, in my opinion. And I'm just glad that I'm able to be a part or play some integral part or some part in the movie to your accomplishments, man. And I'm close. I'm happy I'm close to you. And we get to talk on a daily basis and we get to experience some really, really good times together. And it's been a great journey. I love it. I love hanging out with you. I love spending time with you. I love the relationship that you and I have built. And I can only see how great and how successful you're going to be if you continue with this work ethic that you have that is relentless and it's extreme, man. I love it.
I love what we do.
Yeah, man.
I really have fun every day. I don't think there's a single day that I wake up that I am... Sure, I wake up tired and groggy, right? We all do. But
we all do.
Not one day do I not want to go to work.
Right.
Am I not looking forward to what I got to do today?
So what is your prediction for real estate in the next 5 to 10 years of the Rio Grande Valley?
I see the valley consistently growing as it has been from when I started real estate, which is 5 years ago. But now that I'm in real estate and I'm able to study years past, I've never seen the valley historically show a decrease of growth in any sector, and I think we're going to continue to do so in the next 5 years.
Yeah. Especially we got projects like Starbase and SpaceX, and thank you Elon Musk for putting the Rio Grande Valley on the map. Now every time I go somewhere, everybody knows what the Rio Grande Valley is. Thank you to all the people who invest here in South Texas. Thank you to everybody, man. I mean, it's been growing and growing and growing, and we have room to grow 10 times, 20 times, 50 times more, and we just want to be a part of it. So we're here. We know how to work with development. We know how to do all that good stuff, and I'm just grateful, man. Anything that you want to say to the world, any last message to that young agent who might not even know he wants to be a real estate agent or an investor or play in the real estate world, what would be your recommendation to him or her?
My recommendation to that person, and not just in my industry, but in any industry or any career path that it is that person chooses to take, is just to wake up every single day, do what you have to do to truly find success in it. I think we lie to ourselves a lot sometimes, not intentionally to hurt ourselves, but we tell ourselves that we are doing the best. We tell ourselves that we are choosing the best path that we can take, but sometimes we got to step back and say, is that what we're really doing? Did I really go out there and give today my ultimate best, and did I really get the results that I wanted? Not everything happens in one day, but you can do everything to make sure that it happens the next day, right? Or the day after that, or in the shortest amount of time frame as possible. That would be my advice to everybody. Just put forth your career and your future as your number one priority, and wake up every day with your goal to do the very best to get there. Now, there's a lot of other factors and components that you're going to learn to do along the way. Learn how to take advice from people, learn who to take
the right
advice
people.
from the right people, exactly.
If they're the right people that want the right things for you and they're going to help you, guide you in the right direction, find yourself a good mentor that is going to take the time to show you the way and push you in the right direction.
That was you for me.
Love you, bro.
Industry it was. Shout out to where we at?
Twin Peaks.
I told Rick, hey, he asked me to be in a comfortable environment. I said, dude, go ahead and choose, I think, any family restaurant that we can go to.
Yeah.
And he brought me to Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
So,
great family restaurant.
here we are. Twin Peaks, they have a really cool lounge area. Really
Yeah,
nice place
great
to hang out
atmosphere, great energy, great drinks, great people. Thank you for your time, Allen. I appreciate everything you do for me.
Likewise.
And I wish you nothing but success, more success. You took all the big awards, MVP and everything this last award ceremony, which was the best one we've had so far.
It was a great event.
Yeah, so.
Good job, Big Realty staff. Awesome
Yes. All right, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
event. Rick?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.